What's up, Badass Fantasy Football League? Week 2 is upon us. Happy Thursday Night Football tonight. So get those lineups set. Um, we had some upsets. Mud Dogs had a great week. Papa Smoke had a great week. Team top 5 DOA won the matchup of the week. I think we had some surprises. I think Trav won. So everybody went 2-0 basically. I don't think maybe we had somebody go 1-1, not very many, but a lot of it was 2-0, 2-0, 2-0. So be interesting. I think the teams that had some solid picks in the top of the draft were able to do well. But I think week 1 is it's not a season, so we'll see how it goes. League news, we don't really have much. I think that the trading is getting harder and harder. I think especially after you have a week, people when they win, they value their guys a little higher. People when they lose, people try to take advantage of you. So I think the trading is going to get tougher. I think it will be a little bit easier midway through the year. But right now it's definitely tougher. So if you're making a trade and you accomplish that trade, that's a win for you. That's for sure. Uh, yeah. Other than that, we don't have much going on in the league. It's all pretty much self-explanatory. Runs itself now, so that's exciting. And if you get a trade in this weekend, make sure you get a hold of me. Obviously, with my wedding and stuff, I will be a little bit busy, but I'll get that trade through for you, or one of the co-commissioners can help me out, and we'll get that trade through. But just be a little bit patient with us, and good luck. Right on to week 2. I expect the league median to stay right around 100 all year. I think that's a good number. So you're that's your goal. Get over 100, and you got a chance to go 2-0. There's some decent matchups this week. I expect Legend 24 to bounce back. I think his team is too good to go 0-4. That would be crazy. Yeah, and so I think there's some good things going on. Personally, my own roster, I have no depth right now without Taylor and Kamara, so it is tough. I liked what I saw from Richardson, though. I feel like I have a franchise-type quarterback, so I'm excited about that part, and we'll see what moves I can make the rest of the year. I got some stuff up my sleeve, and I'm sure everybody feels that way. So, real quick, yeah, I think, you looked at the first week and some guys that popped off. I thought Christian McCaffrey and the San Francisco 49ers offense was really solid. Obviously, Brandon Ayuk, there's a lot of hype. There was a lot of hype about him last year. He had a great, solid first week. So, now will he be that good? He's not going to score 2 touchdowns a week, but I think he's going to be a top threat for them. And if they're healthy, they're a very tough team. The Cowboy defense, obviously, I would argue that's a mixture of Daniel Jones, but that Cowboys defense is loaded, and Micah Parsons is a problem. So, yeah, the Cowboys defense scored a ton of points. I think the rookie quarterbacks did decent. Richardson, Stroud, Bryce Young. They're not world beaters though. So if you're playing one of those guys like me, you got to be patient. I thought the wide receivers, Jefferson caught a shit ton of balls, especially in the first half. Diggs came alive late for the Bills. But I thought top to bottom, the wide receivers were kind of disappointing. There wasn't as many big plays as you tend to think there would be for fantasy football, and so that was a little disappointing. But we're also at 24 teams, so the wide receiver position is going to look a little weak compared to some other leagues. So that was very interesting. And then I thought the tight ends without Kelsey and Kittle, Kittle played a little bit, but without Kelsey and then no Andrews, like the tight end position was pretty quiet as well. So I expect the scoring to be a little bit better. It's the first week of the NFL. The defense is always a little bit ahead, and you'll start to see teams will start to get some big plays, start to understand other teams' tendencies, weaknesses, so bigger plays will come, and I expect more scoring to happen. So definitely excited about that. But yeah, it's interesting. I think the league's going to be very, very competitive, and I think won't really know until about week 4 through 6, who the better teams are, stuff like that. So that's what I'm excited about. I'm not going to take up too much of your time today, guys. I appreciate everybody wishing me a happy birthday. Like I said, I think the league is good. I think it's very hard to make a trade. That's the one thing I would say. I think there's been less trades than I expected. But that could mean that we have very, very good managers in this league. So I'm excited about that. Now, matchup of the week is The Godfather, which is my boys Dylan Boone and Zach Clark. They're co-owners. They co-manage that team. against Z Nettles, Papa Smoke, who is a very, very surprised to be 2-0. So congrats to you. Congrats to Mud Dogs. Congrats to, there's one other that was a surprise too, if I forgot your name right off the top. I'm on my phone, so I can't really necessarily go through the app and continue to film. So, but congratulations to those guys. If I predict you to loss and win, I love you guys proving me wrong. I love it. I love it. I love it. So I'm happy for y'all. Big Doss is another one. You know, he had a great week. So that is exciting for you guys. But this week, I think Godfather and Papa Smoke are the only two 2-0s going at it. So Godfather, I said it after draft day, they just had a consistent draft. They didn't really hit it out of the park. They didn't mess it up. They didn't lose on draft night. And that consistency got them good depth. They're going to be tough to beat. They really are. They're going to be tough to beat. Papa Smoke is kind of that team. He stole Algier, or however you say his name, the running back from Atlanta. So he stole him from Big Doss. In my opinion, he won that trade. And then he has Chase, who didn't really do much, but that's the thing. His team will come together, especially once Jamar Chase starts getting some big plays. And the Bengals, whether they win or lose, they're not going to look like that offensively. But that's my one fear about that division. That believe it's the AFC South. I could be wrong about that. It may not be the AFC South, whatever it is. But you got Steelers, Browns, Bengals, Ravens. All four defenses are just so solid that it kind of hurts the fantasy players in that division. I think Steelers were a prediction I had that they were going to be better than what people thought. And you just watch them play, the 49ers. Woo. But again, the 49ers have an elite defense. I think the Browns have an elite defense. I think the Ravens have an elite defense. I think the Steelers have an elite front. They miss secondary guys, though. Legit secondary guys. So it's going to be really interesting. The Browns, Myles Garrett is an animal. You guys are seeing him. He's doing that crossover and stuff like that. He's a machine. So stuff like that in fantasy matters. If your quarterback can't throw the ball to these guys, it's trouble. So we'll see, with the injuries. Kupp still battling his injury. Darren Waller's got a little bit some injury issues. Obviously, you got Jonathan Taylor on the PUP list. Kamara is suspended for 3 more games. Cooper Kupp still battling injury. Deontay Johnson from Pittsburgh, who K. Ritter just traded for in our league. Sounds like he may be done for the year. Aaron Rodgers goes down. How crazy was that? So there's a lot that goes on in fantasy football that can change the season real quickly. So, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what Week 2 brings. That matchup between Papa Smoke and Godfather, I think the projection, the last time I checked, was like 105 to maybe just over 100. So that's going to be, again, one of those matchups. The first team to 100 probably wins. And I think you're going to see that in a lot of our matchups. I see, maybe Mud Dogs was projected 114. I think Trav's up there as well for T-Town's Finest for some points. So I think if you can score over 110, you're really, really having a really good week. And it just comes down to the big plays, and that's what fantasy is all about. It's about production, getting the targets and producing on big, big plays. So there is some games that I think are going to put up some high points if you have these players. I'll start giving you guys some hints, whether my team sucks or not. Obviously, you can tell that I'm banking on that Taylor and Kamara the next couple of years are really good, and obviously that Richardson becomes a starting quarterback, a franchise starting quarterback. But I mean, you're looking at some teams that are really, really good in some matchups. They're going to score a lot of points. You have the Lions, Seahawks. There's going to be a lot of big plays in that. Neither defense is really that good. The Lions' defense has improved. Don't get me wrong. I know we got half the league is all on this Kool-Aid of the Lions. Aiden Hutchinson's a beast. I'm a Michigan fan. I love Aiden Hutchinson. Gardner Johnson helps the secondary. So they're improved. They're out to prove some stuff, but there's going to be a lot of big plays in that game between DK, Lockett, and the Lions offense. So I expect that to be a high-scoring fantasy game. Obviously the Dolphins, you saw what happens when the Dolphins are clicking. Tua, Tyreek, Waddle, that's something special. To get those guys on the field at the same time, that's tough. So, yeah, there's some games that are always going to have that high scoring. I expect Dallas and the Jets game to be pretty low scoring. Those are going to be 2 elite defenses going at it for sure. So that's going to be interesting. So, yeah, there's a lot going on this week in fantasy, and I think you got to watch those matchups. I had the Giants defense last week, and they got torched because the offense kept giving Dallas the ball. So I expect the Giants to bounce back this week. If I'm an owner, I'm staying away from the Arizona Cardinals. They are terrible until Kyler gets back at least. I feel bad for some of those guys that they're out there. Could you imagine being in your prime and being a decent lineman or a player and you're on the Cardinals right now? That organization is just not even trying to win at the moment. So that's very tough. It's real tough. So yeah, so those are kind of some things, some takeaways I have. I'm excited for the matchup between Godfather and Papa Smoke. I'm excited for the guys that won that I predicted not to win. I will post my predictions when I can look at all the scores. I won't do a video. I'll post them in the chat. That I know you guys kind of like the smack talk and like to say, "Hey, Zai, I proved you wrong. I love it. I love it. I love it." So other than that, guys, I hope you all have a great weekend. Enjoy the football, man. Every weekend you gotta enjoy the football. College football starting to spice up. We're gonna get into league, play some big games. Trying to think of some matchups this weekend that are really good. I think you got Florida, Tennessee. That's a rivalry, even though Florida's not that good, but that's always good fun to watch. I think you got Washington, Michigan State. That'll be interesting. Michigan State's look pretty good, and now with all the Mel Tucker, drama, so that'll be interesting. Washington has Indiana's former quarterback, Penix. He's pretty good. Second year at Washington, he's a solid player. He could be somebody that we're looking at for fantasy next year. In the rookie draft. So yeah, enjoy the football. Enjoy the weekend with your loved ones if you get to spend the time with them. And yeah, I appreciate all the support for the birthday. I got the wedding this weekend, so I'll be busy. But again, if you make trades, the league never stops. We'll get them through. And yeah, I don't really have no league news. Like I said, I'll be sharing the gear and stuff as I get it and get it done, and I'll be more focused on that once I get back and in the groove, back in my life, normal. I'm not having to travel no more. But yeah, and then we will get the bylaws out for next year and stuff like that, because with it being a dynasty league, we don't want to wait until next year. We want to make sure people are committed and stuff like that. That way nobody's selling their team away. All that. But we're good. We're good. We'll worry about that stuff when we get there. Enjoy week 2. Papa Smoke, Godfather have the matchup of the week. Congrats to those underdogs that won. I'll put the score predictions in there when that goes up. But yeah, enjoy the week. And, 2-0 is a lot better than 0-2. But I think that this league is going to be very competitive and week-to-week based. I think you'll see some interesting records. And I think you may start to see a lot more, maybe some 1-1s. I don't know. It'll be interesting. So it may be if you win, you pretty much are going to be 2-0 every week. And if that's the case, that's good, because that means if you're 0-2 and you can bounce back, you're right there with everybody else. But if you can somehow put 3 or 4 in a row, you will separate yourself. So, yeah, it's just going to be really interesting. Like I said, I'll put those predictions in after I upload. Happy Thursday. You all enjoy the game tonight, Philly, Minnesota. If you want to coach Zy prediction, Philly by a lot. Kirk Cousins sucks in prime time, and that Philly defense is pretty legit. There is one. I do have a concern. I thought the Philly pass defense wasn't extremely great last week against the Patriots, but I think Philly will play inspired. I think Minnesota will play inspired too as well, but I think Philly will wear Minnesota down. So yeah, it's going to be very, very, very interesting. Good luck in week 2. Congrats to everybody that won in week 1. Congrats to those underdogs that won. I know we had a lot of week 1 national champs in this chat, in this league. I love it though. I love the smack talk. Papa Smoke and Godfather, good luck. If I had to predict, Godfather's going to win a close one. I think Godfather will have a good week. They'll score about 110. Papa Smoke will be about 100 on a good week. So that's where I'm going to go with. Godfather wins the matchup of the week, but that is the matchup of the week. Commissioner Zai is out. Happy Thursday, y'all. See you next week.